Hello once again, friends and fans. Raptor here, and I'm playing a game that is just in beta now. As you can see, it's WARGAME's European Escalation. It is a combination game between basically World in Conflict and Ruse, is basically how it's felt. I've played a little bit of this game. It was kind of hard to figure out at the beginning. I looked into kind of things a little bit deeper, looked on basically like in-depths about the vehicles and really about the gameplay and everything like that, and so it's quite the game. There is quite a lot going on in this game. It's not the simplest game, but once you get it, it is easy to learn, and well, I shouldn't say it's easy to learn, but basically there's a lot of trial and a lot of error. So if you can get past that, you're good. So over here, I've been playing for about an hour and 25 minutes here. Total time, and so I've got a good amount in. I think I'm level 3, and I have 8 command stars. So let me just basically give you a tour of everything. This is the multiplayer beta, as I said, and pretty much the only thing open is multiplayer. And I'm just going to show you all of the vehicles and everything available in this entire game. Every single little thing you see there is a different vehicle with a different capability. It might be infantry, it might be a helicopter, it might be a supply truck, it might be a tank, it could be a missile launcher, you know, like artillery or something like that. There's even tanks that light stuff on fire, and there's anti-aircraft units like you see there. They all have cool names. There's some mobile artillery for the Americans and some anti-aircraft guns for the Soviets. So basically this is a game where similar to Ruse, you capture command points and stuff to get points to call out more units. There's basically no other way to explain it other than just showing you how it works. So I will just show you that you know, here are all your vehicles and everything like that. You can look into it. You can see that you know, for instance, the American AH-64 Apache is a gunship helicopter. It can move let's see, it can move up to 350 kilometers an hour, comes armed with 38 Hydra rockets, 8 Hellfire missiles, and 1,200 rounds of autocannon. So, you know, and you can see everything. Look at this. There's no armor in this thing, which actually is highly inaccurate. Accuracy, the AP power and HE power of everything, it's just really quite a detailed game. And the way you unlock these things is the more you play, the more command stars you get, and then finally you can unlock it. For instance, if I wanted to, could unlock the AH-64 for the Americans right now, but I'm not going to do that because instead I'm going to do a little bit of commentary on a replay. So I will show you just a pretty quick battle here, and by quick I mean like 15 minutes, but I'll try to speed it up through the boring parts and keep it a little entertaining. Alright. So here's me in green here, and at the start of the game you'll see that there's a command vehicle and the FOB, or forward operating base. Now the M15A1 command vehicle right there is used to capture these zones. As you can see, there's a hotel at the bottom here, Foxtrot, Echo, Delta, Golf, Bravo, and Charlie. Now each number above them is how many points you get per, I believe, every 4 seconds. And if they have an arrow pointing to them, like Foxtrot 2 here, that means that this area could be used for reinforcements as well. So, at the beginning of the game, that means that if I moved all of my units from Hotel 1 to Foxtrot 2, we're now making 2 points every 4 seconds. We have reinforcements here, and we're closer to the enemy, which means we'll eventually make our victory, I guess you could say. And it even shows me pulling out my vehicles in real time, so you can see that I've called out some more command units and more Leopard 1A1s. And they won't be deployed until the battle starts, which is a little bit longer. Here you see some anti-aircraft units, which are troops that come pre-equipped with transport, which is nice. So if you call out infantry, instead of having to wait for them to travel to, I don't know, for instance, this group of trees here to hide and wait for them to walk, they just go automatically into their vehicles and get out, and when they're in cover, and can also be placed in large homes, large buildings. It's better to be in a larger building, obviously, because there's more cover. I'm also, you can see here, bringing out those our binoculars. So those are recon units for the Germans. And now the game has begun. Everything has turned to blue. So you'll see my units start to roll forward, and that M151A, well, basically let's just call it the damn Jeep. The Jeep is rolling out, and it's ready to, or it's going to, capture the Foxtrot 2 and Golf 3 positions. Now, another cool thing about this game is when you have a vehicle selected, there'll be an option over in the right-hand corner called Move Fast, or Fast Move. And basically what that'll do is that'll tell the vehicles to stick to the highway and major roads, so that way they can get to somewhere faster. So for instance, if you're moving to Foxtrot 2, they'll take the highway all the way up to this destroyed bridge here, and then they can cut off to the left. As you can see also, there's this dark green area. That means a large ridge. So vehicles can park up here and have a larger viewing radius, and also if there's vehicles at the bottom, vehicles at the top, they won't be able to see each other. So if there's vehicles up here and you want to sneak by, you might be able to do that. A lot of the light vehicles and medium vehicles can hide in these forests. Like as you can see there, it says forest dense, gives you heavy cover. So this Marauder 1 group is an anti-tank group that's being sent out to, more than likely, if memory serves me well, take one of these tree forests here to set up a defensive position against enemy tanks. So I'm sending out recon to the right, sending out Marauders to protect Golf 3. So when this is all set, when these Jeeps stop in these areas, they have to be stopped, they can capture them. So if all goes according to plan, which I think it will, there will be 3 plus 2, which is 5, so 6. So every 4 seconds we will get 6 points. And in the game you'll see up in this upper left hand corner a number that'll keep ticking away, and that's the points that you have available to spend. Now as you can see here, stuck in mud, it says vehicles can be can be hindered by terrain hazards. For instance, if you send them through the forest, they could get stuck in the mud or be detracked. If they hit a tree wrong or something like that, it could knock the track off, and they'll have to repair. Also, when you're in battle, if for instance a Leopard tank or an infantry vehicle gets hit hard enough by a tank shell, they'll lose their targeting system, or they'll be detracked, or it'll hit the main fuel line and they'll run out of fuel. And there is fuel in this game. You'll also have to support, you see that little X down there in the lower left hand corner ticking down, 507, 506, 504, 503, 502, all the way to 500. That's the fuel remaining for this vehicle. So you'll have to call out supply vehicles to resupply these vehicles and repair these vehicles if they're damaged and after fighting. They need armor, or they need ammo, they need armor repaired, and they need fuel. So those are the 3 things that you'll need. So as you can see, we've already taken Foxtrot here with the command vehicle here. Leopard tanks moving up the hill. And also it's quite intelligent to zoom in on the map and see the high points. That gives you a better advantage over your enemy. So the Soviets here are taking up defensive positions around Charlie 3. It looks like there's a lot of them too. T-62 tanks, looks like a few command vehicles moving up, and it looks like they're also putting a few ZSUs in the forest, which are anti-aircraft vehicles. Now I don't have those yet. So for the Soviets, you can see scout units here, a recon, and I also have a anti-aircraft vehicle sitting here in the woods. I also have Leopard tanks here, and I also have recon sitting here. So basically we're holding a line now. So now what I'm doing is, now that we're holding a line, I'm bringing in more vehicles to start my attack. You can see I'm bringing in flak Panzers and Leopard heavy tanks, main battle tanks rather. And they'll come in via that arrow. So if any point, if Foxtrot 2 is taken and I didn't have a vehicle down here, I'm cut off. And I have to retake one of these areas that has the arrow in it in order to continue capturing. So let's look at the overall map then. Now you can see that during battle I probably wasn't able to see him, otherwise I would have pushed more of my forces north. And there's that huge area to the right to attack via, but there's nothing really over there other than a huge area to flank with. So everyone's staying on the left side of the map. Now you can see the mini-map up here with the time counting down and points scored by each team. We haven't even seen each other yet in this battle. So there's no points yet. So I'm about to take Delta here, and that will give us a total of... Oh, and it looks like the command vehicle has moved out of Hotel 1. So what's going on now is more than likely this command vehicle is moving to Echo 4, and Delta 4 will be taken in just a minute. So that'll be 3 plus 2, which is 5, and then 4 plus 4, hopefully, to give a... Oh, wait a minute now. Oh, and there's another command vehicle moving in. So actually, I think these two will move to these positions, and that'll give us 8. So that'll... I think that's what's going to go on. I can't remember. But anyway, the more points, the better. So I should have over, I don't know, 10 or 12 points, depending on if this vehicle moves out of Gulf 3. But then again, this recon unit's here. So I of course, I didn't want to just move on intelligently into the area. So I'm sending up the anti-tank squad and the recon unit into... Oh, looks like there's the first battle here. Soviets sent a couple of BTRs into battle, or at least one. Oh, it was a command vehicle. They sent a gas recon vehicle over here to try to capture it, and it looks like the Cures, or the crews, or I don't know, we'll call it the Cures. The recon unit here was able to destroy them because they have a couple of cannons on top. So now it looks like the Russians are going to throw in some more UAZs, command vehicles, to basically do nothing. They'll basically just die. That's a noob mistake right there. But that's alright, this game's only been out for 24 hours, so haters will hate. So as you can see, a lot of his ZSUs now have this little icon flashing, the square with the X. That's a fuel tank. They need fuel, otherwise they're going to come to a dead stop. So with nothing but the recon unit and the command vehicle there, and tons of anti-tank and T-62 tanks rolling at me, I have no choice but to basically get out of there. So you'll see here that I'm going to bring up the infantry fighting vehicle to take cover here in these woods to try to contain what the Russians are doing. So he's pushing ahead in Delta, so I'm going to move vehicles in position around him. So in just a second, you'll see the main battle tanks start to surround him, kind of in a U shape, to contain what the Russians are doing. Oh yes, it's very exciting during battle. So we're only 7 minutes into battle here, and we'll speed up just a little bit now that I've explained most of the things. You can see him calling in more reinforcements here. He's now brought in a supply truck. I too will soon bring in supply trucks after some of these vehicles get damaged, and I know there's about to be a battle. It's good to save up before you know what's going on, because for all I knew he had all helicopters, and that means I would need a little bit more help in the anti-air department. He's also bringing in recon groups, and you can see this supply truck is about to drive right in front of my recon unit here. And they'll open fire on it. I don't know if they hit it or not. That would have been awesome if he would have jumped that like the Deuce of Hazard. That would have been great. But anyway. Whoa. Alright. So, looks like a few of his excuse me, a few of his recon units made it across the highway, and we'll get some info on some of these tanks. T-62 has great range, is slow, no stabilizer, which means it has to stop before it fires, and it has 3 armor, which is okay. So my Leopard tanks did okay against them. There's quite a few groups. That was the Soviet doctrine back in the day, was to the Soviet doctrine was to basically outperform the enemy by having much more than they did. So you see 2 or 3 groups of T-60s here versus 1 group of Leopard tanks. I always like to, I always want to say Leopard, but it's Leopard. But anyway, so these units will be destroyed, and again I retreat with the Jupiter truck here, the was it MD or MO? I think it's MD. resupplying it, and it eventually gets taken out. So my counterattack was destroyed by those helicopters you saw flying, which were eventually destroyed. And also it looks like there's missile launching trucks in the back. The 253 Actasia, I don't know. Actasia. So now I'm getting angry. So I'm bringing in more Leopard tanks. And I'm going to flank by going this way, up the center, and then all the way around. So now we're going to start drowning him in tanks. So as you can see there, the icons that are just circles are tanks. The ones with the X's through them are recon, and or armored personnel carriers. And recon is right there with the single. I think it's single slash. So different icons for different things. Now I'm getting nervous about him possibly bringing in helicopters. So I bring up the anti-aircraft artillery, which I'll probably place in the woods, and it's a great idea to use that too. You can keep your tanks out in the open if you're trying to lure the enemy out, maybe to take them out with some flak panzers, or is it flak panzer? Yeah. And you can also hide in the trees. So, like for instance, these are now anti-aircraft units that are basically sitting in the woods waiting for trouble. And I do not know if you have to deploy them, if you have to unload those vehicles or not. I can't quite remember. This was like one of my first games, so I can't remember exactly what I was doing. I was learning while I was playing. So he's going to also try to get some more supplies to his trucks, or to his troops via the supply trucks. There's one there and one there. As you can see, he's rather desperate for it. And it looks like Recon's moving up again. So now I'm unsuccessfully fighting against a group of tanks, a group of anti-tank units, I believe. Yep. The F.A.Q. And I'm not going to say it any other way. So you can see there the F.A.Q, which is the, it's basically their anti-tank unit. And RGD grenades and AK-74s. So there's AA units, anti-tank units, their transports, and a supply truck moving into position. Now obviously at this point they're outnumbered with Leopard tanks moving in, and there's really only artillery in the back. And you can see units also gaining experience in the background. And now it's over. First to 1500 there. It was a close battle, 1459 to 1500. It was really one of my first go-throughs, but it only took about 15 minutes there. And so that's basically how the game is played. So, until next time, friends and fans, this is Raptor. I'll see you soon.